When watching the video Overeating Brains, I thought that it was very interesting. I used to think that overeating was just something that people did, not an actual issue with their brain and it not telling them that they were full. Their experiment with the balloon allowed for people to see the different reactions in the different body types as well. I have a nephew who has struggled with weight his entire life. I didn't think it had anything to do with his brain chemistry and there being something wrong with his receptors and them not telling him that he's full. I just thought that he was doing it because he didn't know when his next meal was going to be due to some issues during his childhood. The balloon experiment at first made me think, why were they doing that? And how were they going to get that balloon out of the person? Because that can't be healthy to have that balloon stay in their stomach. I then understood the purpose of the experiment. It was to help other people realize that obesity or overeating is a disease and can hopefully be cured one day, which is what they were attempting to prove. If someone can realize why they are overeating and get it treated, then they will live a healthier and hopefully longer lifestyle. By realizing that, people will be more understanding of someone who is obese and hopefully not judge them as harshly because they will understand that this is a medical condition and not just a lifestyle choice. If we think about this from a personal standpoint for a second, I know that every time that I see someone who is overweight or a friend complains about their weight, my first thought is, well, if you don't like it, do something about it. I never really thought it could be considered a medical or mental condition. And honestly, who really does? If we get this kind of information out there and come up with a cure or a chance for overweight people to lose that extra weight for good, then they'll live happier lives. Also, by doing that, we're taking away any future medical conditions that they may encounter, because being overweight is not good for anybody's bones or joints. The other thing we have to consider is relapsing. If people who are used to eating too much get a cure or get down to a healthy weight, could they possibly continue to eat the way they have eaten for years and relapse? The true accomplishment would be to see who is predisposed to this condition and catch it early so that the chance of relapse is way less. This is because they won't be used to eating so much. Therefore, they won't want to continue to eat like they used to because they've never had to. This is what will truly help the population when it comes to overeating. If people are cured before they can get sick or become acclimated with that illness, then it will be more effective than if we catch it after the fact. The trick is to come up with a treatment before this becomes an issue. I'm not exactly certain how doctors can administer this test. Maybe when the person is in their youth and they go in for a physical for sports or even just a well-child check appointment, then they can implement a treatment that will be effective and help the kid that is predisposed. Overeating also isn't good for children because they are still developing both physically and mentally. And for them to be the few who have this wacky brain chemistry doesn't allow them to develop properly either way. This would also affect their self-esteem because they won't be teased by other youth because they are overweight. It will help them in so many different mental health issues as well, because the kids won't be teased for being overweight, so the suicide rate for kids being overweight will also go down. It could potentially help with depression because the kids won't be left out of things and be able to make friends easier because everyone knows that people flock to people that are like them. So if you're overweight, then more people are likely to leave you out of invites. I'm not saying that this will remove suicide or depression from the world, but this is definitely a start to help aid in those mental health issues. People also need to be made aware that obesity is a disease and that some people are predisposed to that disease just like any other. Cancer, brittle bone disorder, different things like that. It doesn't necessarily make them different. It just means they need more help, support, and encouragement to get past this condition.